Hello, truth seekers, and happy Equinox Day. Yep, spring equinox. Back in a t-shirt. See that? Good stuff. Of course, a good t-shirt. But American flag, Q, a phrase from JFK's boat. I believe it was on the bell on the boat or something. Where we go one, we go all. There's history in it. Can't explain everything here. Only have half hour. Speaking of here, this is Life, Liberty, and Hines with me, Brian Hines, your host. This is episode 109 of said podcast, and today is the 20th of March, 2025, according to the calendar that we're using at the moment. There's a bunch of stuff going on, and we're pretty much in a deluge of information. I call this an information war. It's more than that, but it's a war for truth, not just information. Because you can turn on CNN and get information. Doesn't mean it's going to be accurate or correct information, but you'll get information. But we're in a deluge of information. Whether you want to talk about weather manipulation, they say the flooding in North Carolina was from weather manipulation. They say the chemtrails in the sky are part of weather manipulation. When are we going to get the proof for all of this? I don't know. But we got to get back to the deluge of information. Whether it's the weather manipulation, wasteful spending, child trafficking. Wasteful spending, we're getting a lot of that right now. It's information. Is Elon Musk and Doge making up these stories? Like $14 million think go to some ridiculous LGBTQ club or something in who knows where around the world. It's just another number, not maybe accurate, but are they all right? I believe so. And we pay a lot of taxes. There's a lot of people here. And you know what? They print money every day. They have access to it. Do they really hand out cash? Or do they hand out debit cards? Like what they gave the 30 million illegal immigrants that are still in this country. Trump is getting rid of, or ICE is getting rid of some of them, but I believe they are just the violent criminals. Which, of course, we need them out of here as soon as possible. But is there no other groups out there catching all the other illegal immigrants here? Or are they just still a burden on our pocket? Well, maybe Doge and Elon Musk will get to it. But as far as that goes, all that information, there's also JFK files, which we allegedly got this week. Something like 80,000 pages. To tell you the truth, we don't need 80,000 pages of JFK files. If they release the complete, non-edited version of Zapruder film, I believe his name was John Zapruder, somewhat wealthy individual that was alive in 1963 and had a video recorder, a tape recorder of sorts. And he allegedly recorded the assassination of JFK. And when the FBI or CIA found out about it, they took that, snipped out a little piece of it, heard something like 13 seconds, and gave it back to him. Well, like I said, we don't want to read 80,000 pages. We just want to see a little video. What was Jackie Kennedy fleeing from? She wasn't going after pieces of her husband. She was fleeing from the shooter, which we believe was in the driver's seat. Which is why we don't have the Zapruder film to watch. Anyway, that's just some of the other information in the war we're in. as well as corrupt courts and many other bits of news information out there. Speaking of corrupt courts, it's a good place to start the show. I like having this little section here about corrupt judges. And the corrupt courts and the corrupt judges are the same thing. You know that. We know that. Because the courts protect the criminals, like the politicians and Hollywood, along with, pretty much law enforcement everywhere. I mean, if I know that Tom Hanks is abusing children, kidnapping, abusing, buying, whatever, eating, who knows? You know that frazzle drip thing? Yeah, it's all Tom Hanks. Well, as long as people like Tom Hanks are out there eating children, then the police officers in the area of Tom Hanks are worthless. They have taken an oath to protect and serve. Well, I guess they're not protecting and serving the children. They're just protecting and serving the elite, Hollywood, politicians, whatever. But I got some very good examples. I got a pretty big corrupt judge section here, actually. There are 6 of them. And we're going to start with corrupt judge William Alsop. And if I pronounce these losers' names wrong, I don't care. I might be doing it on purpose. But this corrupt judge William Alsop is a Clinton appointee and ordered Trump administration to rehire the fired employees. Any business in America can fire employees for no reason. I think it's something about right to work. Like some states have a right to work tax or whatever. Just another tax. And right to work also means right to get fired. But anyway, this here corrupt judge William Alsop thinks he can tell the Trump administration that they have to rehire worthless employees just to waste our tax dollars. We're going to move on to the second corrupt judge, and this is Kevin Christensen. Well, this particular corrupt judge isn't a judge anymore. Check this out. Has been arrested for child exploitation and related charges. Yeah. So it's nice to see a corrupt judge go down once in a while, but he's going to go in front of another judge, and he's going to give him a lenient sentence on a plea deal. Plea deals. Plea deals are for a corrupt justice system. Because let's say, because this is the way the system works. The police go out there and they arrest somebody and they throw like 35 charges on you. They just making shit up, by the way. But they throw 35 charges on you. Then you go through a couple hearings. You're in jail, of course. You go through a hearing, this or that or whatever. And they might cut a couple of them out. And then they make you plead to one of the charges so you don't get charged with all of them. And it's called leverage. Having you in jail, incarcerated, is leverage. That they can make you admit to something you didn't do. So, this here, Kevin Christensen, he's going to get a plea deal and he's going to get a short sentence and maybe just, who knows, voluntary cleanup or something. We're going to have to keep an eye on what possible corrupt judge protects this particular ex-corrupt judge, Kevin Christensen. And we might as well move on to the next corrupt. I wrote FISA judge here as in James Boasberg. He was part of the FISA court, and during the 2016 spying on the Trump campaign by the Hussein Obama regime was the FISA court. If he wasn't in it then, it doesn't matter. The whole FISA court needs to be eliminated. Not disbarred. No, they just need to be eliminated. Because if you're spying on Americans, then you're not doing your job right. Unconstitutional, corrupt judges. But anyway, this corrupt judge, James Boasberg, is interfering with ICE removing gang members and illegal immigrants. Democrats brought him in. Republicans can't get rid of him. The illegal immigrants. Well, and judges. But anyway, this particular James Boasberg, he thinks that us Americans are supposed to live amongst the gang members from around the world. Out there, murdering, raping, whatever, pillaging. That's why James Boasberg has the word corrupt in front of his name. And we'll move on to the next one. There are 6 of them this week. Corrupt Judge Sandra Milo. She said, quote unquote, lower egg prices cause people to think President Trump is doing a good job, unquote. Well, the lower egg prices isn't from Creepy Joe killing 1 million chickens after he left office. So just another corrupt judge with Trump derangement syndrome. Speaking of Trump derangement syndrome, I seen something about, what state was it? I might have reposted it because it was pretty good, but my page was full, so I couldn't add it. I'm trying to add it now anyway. There was a state that wants to make Trump derangement syndrome a mental illness. I don't think that's good enough. I think there needs to be something more drastic. Trump derangement syndrome gets you deported. Because there's something wrong with these people and we don't need them here. But that was corrupt Judge Sandra Milo. Trump doing a job and this judge saying it ain't him at all. And we'll move on to corrupt Judge Earl Flanders. He said Trump has no authority to pick up these astronauts, unquote. This here moron by the name of Earl Flanders, which is a corrupt judge, just to make sure you don't forget, he wants Elon Musk / SpaceX and President Trump to return the astronauts that were just saved, because they do not have the authority to save these astronauts. They're already here. And corrupt Judge Earl Flanders, you're just a piece of shit. We'll move on to the next judge that's corrupt. It's almost making a long section of my show. If they'd quit being corrupt judges, I wouldn't have to talk about it. But corrupt Judge Tanya Chutkan blocked the EPA from stopping $14 billion to Biden climate groups. Creepy Joe climate groups. Because every administration, they design their own secondary clubs, liberal clubs. I mean, climate groups. Get this. Biden has some climate groups only because Biden needs a place to launder money. And the Biden group, or the climate groups, of course, they're trying to save the planet because we're all ruining it driving our SUVs and stuff. I don't drive an SUV, but anyway, it's all a lie. $14 billion wasted on these climate groups. And corrupt Judge Tanya Chutkan says you can't stop that $14 billion. Well, It's going to end up being stopped. But in the meantime, all these corrupt judges are stupid enough to say things that put themselves on a show. Hopefully, Trump will be able to ban the Bar Association, abolish the Bar Association, and then we can remove these corrupt judges one way or the other. Speaking of corrupt judges and law enforcement in general, Owen Schroyer was just swatted. That's not good. It could happen here. You never know. Hopefully they do it while the show's on, because it'll be a little exciting for the show and stuff. And, I mean, Owen Schroyer, it's all recorded and stuff. The FBI doing the SWAT, of course, would be the bad FBI. Do we have a good FBI? Who's protecting Trump? Or does Trump stay low profile enough that he doesn't have to worry about the next liberal attempted? You know the next word. They're nuts. FBI is out swatting Owen Schroyer instead of cleaning up America. Elon Musk will make maximum donations to GOP members that back impeaching Trump-hating judges. That's pretty good stuff. Maximum allowable donations. Not only is Elon Musk working for free, but now he's going to donate maximum allowable donations to the GOP members that are working to impeach every one of these 6 corrupt judges I talked about. And I think there were 2 last week. Few a week before that. Lots of corrupt judges. Pretty much every week I have them here. I didn't have any that one week. But anyway. President Trump is canceling $400 million in federal funds to Columbia University for promoting hate. It wasn't about hate. It was about anti-Semitism. But as I said about the deluge of information at the beginning of the show, anti-Semitism, I think it's growing. And not in the universities and colleges. The universities and colleges, being liberal, they might promote it. But we both know, we all know, that they're on the same side. So, it was just easier, because protesters, hate protesters, are common on college and university campuses. Whether they're hating on Israel, or they're hating on Trump, or they're hating on Elon Musk, it's still hate. And if your school is allowing or promoting this hate, and it receives federal funding, it should be removed. But $400 million, just imagine. That's just one university. There's thousands that are disrespecting America every day. We should close most of them down. Which, Trump said something about ending the federal education department. I think it was today. He made a speech. He said he was going to sign an executive order. So, federal funds for education, once they end federal education department, then they won't need them funds anymore. Are they going to be able to transfer funds to a different spot? No. They're just going to stop taking our tax money. It's $400 million of our tax dollars that we shouldn't have to spend next year. That means we keep it. For promoting hate, you lose your money. RFK Jr. announced that FDA is going to remove the exemption that allows harmful chemicals / ingredients in our food. So, yeah, I said that. Back in the day, they made this word GRAS, GRAS, generally recognized as safe in the good old FDA, Food and Drug Administration. They come up with this term, GRAS, and it was for ingredients like baking soda. It's needed. It's not a food group. You're not going to taste it. And it's sort of not necessary to be labeled as an ingredient, really. So once they got their GRAS figured out, they just started adding more ingredients to the list of the generally recognized as safe ingredients. And when you start adding things like drywall to cereal, and because a college or university said it was safe, you can generally refer as safe now. A scientist, a doctor, they just need one person to say this ingredient is safe. And they're jamming it in our foods, our bread, our cereal, whatever. So, the FDA and the rules, they have it written that they can put dangerous chemicals in our food. And it's all right. It's an exemption, they call it. Well, RFK Jr. said, make America healthy again. And that exemption that should have never been there is allegedly going to be removed, which means all the poisons and chemicals that are in our foods and everything, like toothpaste, it's all got to go. All the harmful ingredients got to go. And check this out. Oil. We all consume oil. Some of it might be in peanuts that you ate, but some of it might be a little less peanutty than you want. Get this. As of April 2nd, Steak and Shake will be using 100% grade A Wisconsin butter because the oil-based product that they were using before, sometimes known as margarine, is not good for you. I've seen a little video, probably reposting it, and it's about motor oil. The chemicals, the oils they use to make motor oil, or lubricants, whatever, they ended up using in the foods. If it's good enough for an engine lubricant, it's good enough for you to consume. That's what the government thought. Luckily, we have some companies out there that are trying to make us healthy again. And Steak and Shake is one of them. As of April 2nd. So, let's see. If Steak and Shake is going to start making their food healthier on April 2nd? Whose idea was it to make it unhealthy to begin with? Did they fire that person? Or did RFK go over to Steak and Shake and be like, you need to do something over here? Either way, our foods are getting better, safer, allegedly. And then, oh yeah, Trump rally songs. Way back in 2016, Trump was playing YMCA. And I seen a little tidbit about YMCA. Some of that there information. And Guantanamo Bay, Cuba was a site of a YMCA. And then it became the holding facility slash jail slash prison that it is. So for Trump to be playing YMCA in his rally songs, to tell the enemies, like Democrats, that you might be going to the YMCA in Guantanamo Bay. Yeah, that was all the way back in the early 1900s that YMCA was there. And if you remember early on, I mean, everything isn't going perfect right now. But you got to remember back. Remember when Hillary Clinton said if he wins, it's our heads, or our heads are going to roll, something like that. Hillary Clinton, I think, was actually scared. Because if Trump wins, we're going to start finding out about all this stuff. And Trump was threatening her with YMCA song. She knew what it was. We just didn't. And we'll hit this one more. CAIR, Council on American Islamic Relations. Greater Los Angeles has received $7.2 million that was meant for CAIR of California. And they won't disclose where the money went. See, CAIR, California, is tax exempt status or something. And the Greater Los Angeles is not. So they, whether they stole it or they deliberately sent the money to the wrong organization. First of all, Council on American Islamic Relations sounds like your typical politics type of organization. Therefore, I'm going to say that they sent the $7.2 million over there purposely, wrongfully, and purposely. And now we don't know where the money went. Just more of our taxpayer money gone. We got time for one more. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accuses the West of worshiping the devil. Is he talking about, like Clinton West, or a little closer, like the royal family West? Because I'm pretty sure they're all worshiping Satan. And there was your deluge of information for this week, for this half hour. Hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully we can get rid of these corrupt judges that have Trump derangement syndrome. And hopefully by next week, I'll have more good news instead of bad news. You all have a wonderful week.